Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So here we are once again, begin going in just a few minutes here. Just getting things set up so we can take a look at the actual tracker, actually. There we go. It's been a bit of a more relaxed pace than normal. And obviously the fact, yeah, THG is going to be busy until, I think, Monday. So we've got, like, we've had more time, which is really nice. It just means that we can just really go over things a little bit more, which is always a good thing, never a bad thing. Bam, bam, dun, 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 dun. To be honest, I would not be surprised if it was, if this song was actually etched into the actual fabric of my being, really. Still don't mind it. Heard it too many times to care now. Oh dear. How you doing there, AT? I'm going to assume that you've watched MHV's video on Operation Ichigo. I watched it earlier today as well. Really good video, actually, really quite nice. I was actually really remarkably interested to actually see the lines of battle drawn on the map and how similar they are to what we're trying to achieve ourselves at this moment in time. Really interesting. Oops, wrong button there. There we go. Awesome. Oh, no, turn it back up. Oh. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why I'm looking at the one on Twitch. There we go. Well, the thing is, it's like, when we do an Operation Ichigo, I mean, the thing is, it's like, we're in a different circumstance. I'm hoping that we'll never be at the point at which we have to pull something off like that. But the fact is, we're already doing something very similar. It's just obviously we're in a much, much better position than the Japanese, obviously, in 1944, so I'm quite happy about that. I mean, obviously a lot could change, but I'm hoping it will not get to the point at which it is likely to change so badly. Let's get the turn loaded here. Alright, evidence ready. I mean, we'll go over what the plans are regarding Changsha again. Just gonna try and get this up first. Well, this is it. It's like the actual survival of China really does rest on, obviously, the Burma Road and Chongqing, really. I mean, the thing is, it's like we will be going over it. It's interesting. It's one of these of where it's going to be quite bloody, but I think we're in a good position as to where he's going to find it very difficult to stop us, really. Just waiting for this to catch up. Seems like it's having a little bit of an issue. Could not find. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. Right, let's take a look at the current turn, then. I still need to... yeah, I need to look into that one. I completely forgot about that. Production accelerated to 942. I wonder then, do we actually see this for the other engines? This is something that's new. Lo Yang's obviously complaining. Coucher Kendar is very good. Xiao He arrived in port, obviously very good. We do have 2 destroyers that I can actually task from the north, from the Kurils, down to actually escort her. I do believe they're on the way now, actually. Yeah, these are all conversions. Repairs completed over here of the Argentina Maruni Hiemaru. I can imagine they didn't really have much in the way of damage. Now, so listen, the Triton has been sunk over here. Possibly. I don't know if we sunk her, but we definitely did damage her. AVP Bellatrix. Yeah, we know we sank her. Sank by... Oh, that's just confirmation of a kill there, it seems. Okay. Those units changing hands then. Right, let's take a look at the industry then, shall we? These numbers are lower in each time, which is nice. Well, not each turn, but they're getting closer and closer to that point. Though, it's not so much... I mean, the resource one is something that is obviously always going to be constrained. I mean, what we're going to be doing here then, really, in the future as well, is obviously I'm going to be having resource convoys and go to all parts of the Empire, really. It's one of these things of, like, it... we'll take a look. But I'll probably have resources pulled at certain like key locations, and then we'll have them move along in a chain. It's one of these things of like we can't always rely on resources from just China. Mostly due to the fact that it makes it quite easy for the US to commit to economic warfare. So I'd rather spread out the actual convoys to a degree, if we can do that anyway. Okay. It's all about capturing these oil centers. I mean, that is what we're doing at the moment. And with the fall of Kandari, we are going to be in a really good position as to where we can actually seriously look towards the actual fall of Borneo. Because it will fall, and the beauty is, it's like, there's a lot of submarines in the area at the moment. But they're not always going to be there, because once we get aircraft, we can start running ASW flights, can start running patrol boats out from Kandari and other bases as well once they do fall. So let's go ahead and take a look over here. Is the music a little bit loud? Feels a little bit loud. There we go. I want to take a look at the armament. Naval. So armament was still good. Still got a little while there, which is quite nice. Vehicles, obviously, up and up. Naval. Merchant, yep. Manpower. The industry, obviously, from capturing. How are the replacements for the lost land units going to be? Now, how it works with those is I'm just going to launch the... Well, I've got the game launched already, actually. We'll go and take a look then. Now, as far as I'm aware, for like replacements of like actual land forces, I think what you need to do then, I think the way to actually speed it up is obviously you need to be in a base that has a good amount of supply. I think they arrive automatically, but it does take quite a long time. Now, I can see here, replacements are delayed. Replacements are likely delayed 1 day. Now, we might be able to see a difference in strength between each day. I mean, let's see, is there another unit here? Replacements are likely delayed 1 day. Over here, then, let's take a look at the 144th. Replacements are on, but it seems like they're not receiving replacements here. So it definitely seems to be that we have to be in a natural base of supply. And I think you have to be in rest mode. I'm not entirely sure about that. But I think being in rest mode does at least enable the process or help it. But it's a convoluted system when it comes to like land production. It's one of those where, because we don't have direct control over it, it's a little bit harder at times to say what we're doing. But anyway, we'll go over the situation in China then, considering the fact that we just mentioned it. Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, let's take a look. So we did discuss this when I was doing the stream a little bit later on last night than I normally would have been. So I might have been a little bit tired and not explaining things quite correctly. So what we're going to be doing then is we're going to be taking 3 divisions from Changsha. They're going to march south on towards the stack over here of Chinese forces, about 8 corps I think it is. We're taking the armoured regiment, I think it is, an armoured car company. They're going to be going down south. I think it's a company, or it might be even a battalion or a it's definitely some small unit. Might be an armoured car company actually, yeah, more than likely a company. Now, so those divisions are going to march south alongside the armour. These guys over here, the 104th Division, are going to be marching towards this Chinese base over here. The reason being, as of this moment, there is a road open from Changsha all the way down, theoretically, to here. Now, I do control this hex over here, but this hex is actually not under my control, it's actually under Allied control. So supply, in theory, can move all the way down here to potentially even Wenkao, which obviously is less than stellar. But I think I do have ownership of the hex at Wenkao. Yeah, I do. Okay, awesome. So, that road is blocked to the Chinese. So, Chinese supply movement, if it's indeed moving out from here, would be going... and potentially might just stop even now, because it's like we have control of the road there. So it looks as it just stops there. Which still means they're getting potentially supply through over here. I can't imagine much. But it still has the potential to move its way through there. So anyhow, the divisions march down there. Now all the armor that's going to be approaching, so basically all the armor was sent from Luoyang is going to also be making its way down here. Ultimately, what I'm going to be doing then is trying to assemble about 4 divisions and all the armor we have in China as far as we can really grab it, and have it poised over here at the river to cross over here to, I believe the city is called Hengyang. the idea is all the other divisions, all the other artillery, we're going to leave one brigade over here just as a rear guard. But all the artillery is going to be moving to Changsha. The rest of the divisions are going to be moving to Changsha. The armour is going to make its way down here alongside 3 divisions. They're going to meet up with 104th Division and the accompanying artillery. The artillery over here that isn't going to be leaving China, i.e. the artillery that is not attached to Southern Command, will be making its way over here to Kukong, and then from Kukong to the north to meet up with the 104th, and the rest of the divisions and armour, at which point they'll make the crossings over here. We'll use the city south at Changsha. He seems to be moving units to the west there. Are we talking about Hengyang? I assume you're talking about Hengyang. I think it's Hengyang. Yeah, Hengyang. And the thing is, it's like we take a look, it's got 3 units over here. 24 there, obviously that's the main state of its strength there, 8 units there. 5 units there now. It seems like one of these units is potentially leaving Hengyang. There's 7 units over here, an estimation of 40, just shy of 45,000 men. Estimated strength over here is 82,000 men, so a lot of strength there. So it is interesting. It seems like he may believe this division yet threatens the rail line. In reality, it's not going to threaten the rail line. I'm hoping that I might be able to snip off Nanning over there, because if I could snip Nanning, then we could potentially try to cross behind the lines and try and just cross and break the rails over here. Would be a dangerous situation for the force that had to do that, but it would mean that the Chinese wouldn't be able to use that rail line to its full extent, really. So it's one of those where it could be potentially worthwhile doing. But yeah, that's the basic plan there. Everything else over here at Changsha is going to carry on as usual. Once we do have, so yeah, if you can take a look over here then, we're sending the 9th Armoured Car Company and the 13th Tank Regiment, the 19th Division, I believe it's the 19th? Yeah, it looks like the 19th. The 110th and the 32nd. I also do need to send to headquarters as well, actually. That would be quite a good idea. So let's see. We've got core headquarters over here. Let's see. What I'm going to do then is sort them by operations mode. So 11th, North, China, Korea, 12th. Yeah, they're all different headquarters, so it really doesn't particularly matter that much. We currently have the 6th Army and the 11th Army. You're under 11th Army, and that's only a force there. But we'll send the 11th Army. Yeah, currently they have no plan for Changsha, so that's really no great loss. What I'm going to do is begin to have them plan for Hengyang, which will help us out there. So these guys are going to be following through. But I'll have them, yeah, they can wait here for the time being, so they can just remain in that position there. But they'll begin to plan. But the idea is basically, once we do march, I mean, once we get about a day or two, or maybe once we defeat this force in that division headquarters, well, that core headquarters, well, army headquarters, really, will make its way down south, and then over to here. Now, having a headquarters does increase the actual AV of our forces, which is very good there. Very handy. So that's the general strategy in China. Really something of a make or break situation, because if we do break him over in this area, if you imagine in this area about here then, let's say, we think there's about 40 to 80,000 troops here. There's about supposedly 270,000 troops here, so we're already like 300,000 plus men. Another 25 odd thousand there, so that takes us to like, let's say 350,000 men. And then God knows what's here. So there is potentially around about 300 to 400,000 Chinese troops in this area. I don't know, it might be, I mean this is it, we don't know how realistic these numbers are, but I think we can say at absolute minimum about 200,000 to a max of maybe about 400 to 450,000 men perhaps. Can you use the troops from Shanghai area to attack Nanyang and Ningcheng area? We don't have enough troops. There's about 160,000 troops here and around about the same numbers at Yichang as well. These are large Chinese armies. I'd have to really throw a lot of divisions at that. It would be nice to fight out there due to the fact that it is open and clear terrain. But we'll see about that. I think it depends really. Depends very much on the situation at Changsha. Depending on if we can actually really achieve a true decisive victory over here, it depends on how many men I can theoretically march up here. I'd potentially be looking at maybe bringing paratroopers to try and gather, well, grab some of these bases over here, but it's one of those where it'd be unlikely. It's going to be a long slog over here. But what we could potentially do then is have a number of divisions actually transfer back over here to this area of China, and it would probably be the best bet to engage him at Nanyang, really. The reason being that it's clear terrain and close to our own supply lines as well. We have a road here, another road here as well. So it'd be very nice. Might force him to not turn to the north. Well, this is it, really. I see a lot of road between Nanking and Shanghai. Well, yeah, but you got to bear in mind a lot of these units are needed for garrison, and a lot of these units aren't really like full combat units. Well, they're definitely not divisions. I mean, what's really here is there's only a few things that can be shifted. I'll be able to shift forces out from the south of China in the near future, though. These guys are going to go into a bombardment just so we can get an idea of what's going on here. How you doing there, Battling Giza? Part 3, I haven't seen part 1 or 2 yet. Well, that's okay. You've arrived at the part where we have a plan more or less put together, and we're feeling fairly confident about it. So those are the best parts. I'm half tempted to go for a deliberate attack over here, just to see what the defenses are like. But then I might as well wait for these forces to arrive. And we've got the 26th Engineer Regiment on its way. The reason that we're having these guys come over that way is due to the fact that they'll help to reduce the fortifications, which is going to be very handy. How you doing there, Reza? Are you optimistic after turn 1? Oh, hell yeah, we are definitely optimistic. We had small setbacks. I mean, to be honest, it was a good turn last turn. It was a shame that we lost the DMS WA. That was really very lucky. That was a very lucky shot. I'm going to give him to that. I mean, that captain of the submarine did a very good job there. It has really punished me on the gamble to move to the south in a way that I didn't expect, but small losses. The DMS is going to be felt more. The Amigiri was a shame as well, but it could have so very easily worked as well. It's just one of these things that we have to really accept. But as far as it goes, in the South Pacific, we'll have a victory. The last objective in this area is, of course, Numea. I am going to have to take control of these bases over here to prevent him from using them, but we'll have that under wraps soon enough. Now, what I've gone and done as well is I've gone ahead and transferred H6K4s to Funafuti, and we've already got some at Tanawa, but I moved the ones from Tanawa to Funafuti. I took the H6K4s from Wake and moved them to Tanawa. So we do have a large number of H6K4s over here at Roinama. And, yep, of course we do have H6K4s over here at Midway, and down here at Luganville. So we do have something approaching a fairly nice and comprehensive search network. And we do have H6K4s at the north, Japan in the Urals, which are going to be moving to Panamashiro Jima as soon as they're able to be moved there. So if we go ahead and take a look at the actual map, and if we take a look at the actual search arcs, naval, yep, that's fine. What we'll do then is we'll zoom out about 50% here. Your internet's been down there? Oh, God, you know what? That's the worst thing ever, isn't it? It's just annoying. Okay, we'll zoom out to about 25% there. Maybe even 12. Yeah, a little bit too much there. A little bit harder to see there. Okay, so 25% seems to be about the right point there. So as you guys can see there, we've got the H6K4s at Luganville, we've got the H6K4s at Funafuti, Tarawa, Roinama. Then over here at Midway, then we have some H6K4s, H6K4s, and they're going to be shifted over here to Panamashiro, Jima. So it's a shame, obviously we've reduced the search capacity down here at Wake, but we do have an overlap from Roinama and Midway, more or less, a little bit of an overlap. I'd like to get some more H6K4s back onto Wake in the future, but we'll manage that one. I'd be half tempted to potentially even have some H6K4s established at Manus Island, but then again, it's one of those that is really worthwhile. I don't know, it's one of those, isn't it? It's like they're not really covering anything that we don't already see, but it would help. Something to be considered potentially. But yeah, we have the G4s over there. We've obviously got the mini Kitapatai. We've got obviously the naval search that's going on now from the D6. What is it? The Dinas? I think they're Dinas. The Kitapatai. Over there, of course, a decent amount of Jakes. One of our submarines over here using a Jake. Yeah, so as far as it goes, we do have a search network that is really... It's being rolled out. It's getting stronger, getting more aware, really, which is very handy. But either way, we're going to go ahead and take a look at that aircraft production. Yum, yum, yum. Those sweet, sweet planes. You know, the funny thing is I've realised when I do start streaming, it's like you can really tell how different I am for the first hour, and it's like by the second or third hour I'm just like, yeah, we're doing this, yeah, tired. Oh dear, okay, actually I kind of need to delete that. I noticed on the Discord it shared the link, but it actually shared that image of the search arcs, and that's really not information that I want out there. Okay, well, awesome. Righto. So let's take a look then. So build per month. So the Oscars at 126. We're looking to 150 for them. The Sallies are past, well, 2As are past 105. The thing is, obviously, it's a massive engine shortfall. But, I don't know, it's one of these. It's like we'll have different models of aircraft. It's been really harsh, though we lost so many by mistake, really. Obviously, he did shoot down a number of them, but obviously a lot of them were lost due to a misunderstanding of the game's mechanics. And that really did really created a shortfall in engines, really. Which is rough. Wish we could get rid of the Oscars. I like the Oscars, actually. I really do like the Oscars. The 1C is actually decent enough. It's no 0, but it'll do the job. The thing is, it's significantly better than the 27Bs. Well, the KA-27Bs, so I'm happy with it as it is at the moment. Hello there, Feta. What are you doing with the mini-kid batai? Yeah, we'll have to go over that one as well, actually. That's something that we do need to go over there. But we'll go over that shortly. Okay. We've got a small amount of production for the L3UI2s. They're very nice aircraft. I don't need a large amount of production because obviously we'll be able to stockpile them, as they're not really going to be in great use. H6K4's doing well there. About 1 per day seems to be around about the right number. We do have a lot of G3M2s being produced there. They're using the Mitsubishi HAF-33. There's a part of me that wonders, is it worthwhile maybe trying to stockpile some of these engines, but then again it's like, well, we might as well have these airframes built while we need them. Once we get to a point where they're not too particularly useful, I could potentially step down the production. But it's always good to have a good glutton of them, really. Glutton of them, probably the right word. Jake production's ramping up again. We have started to increase the Jake production. I believe we're going for about 45, which should be quite good there. We're going to need them. And basically, all the search planes that are out there in the Empire, they do need to be converted to the Jakes for the most part. Vals, yeah, they're going up there. Decent number of Vals. We don't lose too much in the way of like Vals or Kates. Good number of Kates there in the pool. Very handy. As far as it goes, for the actual G4M1s, it's the Mitsubishi HAF-32. A HAF-32, I mean, we do have more facilities to come online. So they're being produced in Nagoya and Utsunomiya, something like that, Utsunomiya. Something like that anyway, and Nagoya. Plenty of facilities of these to come online, so eventually we'll be in a point where we do have sufficient engines. I mean, I've got 9 G4M1s in the pool at the moment. Yeah. Eventually we'll replace the losses. It'll not take that long, really. Feels like a long time, but they'll eventually be replaced. Okay, let's see. Ship production. So what we're going to do then is we're going to take a look at the naval yard. And we'll take a look. So status. There we go. Solved by the calculation build rate. So we can see here we have the Yunyo, Hyo, Ryuyo. Right, well, Ryuho on accelerated status at the moment in the naval. So, what is the suggested time that it will arrive? Okay. So, the normal arrival date would be the 14th of March 1942. The accelerated date is going to be the 19th of February 1942, actually. So that's going to be very nice. So, we'll actually have that pretty soon. Which I'm looking forward to. I mean, that's going to bring us a really good carrier a little bit earlier, and I really can't wait for that. And that'll be arriving in the next month, actually, which I'm super excited for. That's going to be great. And the good news is, once we have the Yunyo, then that means that a lot of the naval production is able to move on to something else then, which is excellent. So 23 days away we'll have a new fleet carrier. Now she's a very nice, yeah, 53 air capacity. She's got more armor than a few of the other, I mean she's got more armor than the Shoho. The Shoho's got like 5 armor on the belt and deck. Not like it makes a massive difference, but it's worth something. Drill bit is very good, speed's decent. No radar, but hey, we are Japan after all. But yeah, that's going to be another flat top. Hyo, obviously the same there. When will Hyo arrive? So she'll be arriving in April 42, which is great. So, she'll arrive, yeah, a full month after, well, yeah, something, well, around about a full month after. Obviously, Young will be arriving in in February. Hyo arrives in April. There's obviously March in between there. So yeah, it'll take a little while, but we'll have her significantly sooner. And the other, well, the original day would have been June, so yeah, we've cut off a full 2 months there, which is excellent. Looking forward to that. Ryuho, Rayo, how the hell is that? June. She would have been arriving in October, so that one's a no-brainer. Moving on to the merchant. We do have the acceleration of the escort carriers. They're not bad. I mean, 27 capacity there. Taiyo class CVEs. Yeah, so they're going to be arriving. Well, you'll be arriving in March. Significantly better time than arrival. And you'll arrive in June rather than November. So we'll have a few extra carriers a little bit sooner than we normally would do, which is very nice. The Akitsu Marush is going to be arriving in February as well, actually. I think about 3 days after the Taiyo. Not the Taiyo. Is it the Taiyo? No, Yunyo. I think it's about 3 days after. I think Yunyo was 19th of February. She'll arrive 22nd of February, which is very nice. What I'll probably look towards doing then is maybe accelerating the seaplane cruisers, but it depends. Like, accelerated arrival should arrive 11th of February, which is not a bad thing, to be fair. It might be worth considering because it is additional capacity there, really. I mean, that's 20 air capacity. The fact is you can operate float planes underway. Very good there. We do have an AV. These are very nice. 14th of March version was accelerated. Tankers, yeah, a few things. AMC over here would be nice. Which is more like a fast transport than anything else, really, isn't it? She's not exactly essential. Troop transports over there is very good, but we really have enough in the way of troop transports. So, not bad. Okay. Yeah. It's been a long while since I did that, isn't it? I really should do that, to be honest. It would make things significantly easy, but I'm a little bit lazy. I'll have to start doing it in the future, actually. Okay. You can see, obviously, we began the first turn there. 1,407 VPs, 11,126 allied VPs. We have been gaining there, obviously due to capturing bases and etc. And obviously victories in between that as well. He's lost a few over here, but you can see we started at 7.9 to 1. We're now at 1.6 to 1. So we are getting closer there. We'd have to have a 2 to 1 ratio, I think, for a automatic victory at the end of the year. Or it might even be more than that. It might even be like 3 or 4 times, something of that sort of nature. But who knows? Potentially, if we score some big victories and score some strategic locations, we might be able to achieve something of that nature. We'll see. And this is it. Carriers would be good, but they're not... It's one of these. It's like the carriers won't change the war as such. They'd help, but they're not going to be the war-winning things. How you doing, Vampire? Good to have you, my friend. Once you have Yunyo, I'd look into a heavy attack. Hopefully you'll have enough... you'll have the Dutch East Indies. Maybe go for New Zealand or Hawaii. If we went for Hawaii, that would be certain suicide. It would be just another midway. It would be absolutely thrown away our carriers. New Zealand, it's one of those of really... What do I stand to gain from that? I can use submarines to attack there. Well, they're useful, don't get me wrong, but the thing is, it's like, the Navy isn't going to be the thing that wins us the victory. The Navy is obviously a big part of it, but it's not the only part. And we can't get blindsided by the might of the Navy sort of thing, really. Well, as far as it goes for Japan, it's like, well, we don't play by the Allied rules, do we? He could destroy the entire Navy, he could take all of the conquests that we make, but the war will not end. It would just continue. I'm well aware of the carrier's role there, Pirate. I understand what you're saying, but you've got to... I think people get sort of too caught up in just the carriers, the allure of the carriers. They're just another weapon, and they need to be used as a weapon. They can't... And you look at the role of the Yamato. I mean, the Yamato, obviously being a super heavy battleship, but she ended up taking on a... I mean, this is it. She was so big, so prestigious, just such a big white elephant that she wasn't actually using her intended role. So she was wasted. And it can happen with the carriers, but obviously it could be the point at which we actually expect too much of the carriers. And we overuse them, and allow them to be taken out. So we've always got to be mindful that they are weapons of war, but they're always a tool. They're nothing more than a tool. And you've got to be careful with your tools, you can break them. Okay, now regarding the use of tools then, let's take a look. Okay. Well, we're a few years before we have to worry about too much. It is going to be a very interesting stage. I very much... I mean, this is it's going to be very, very interesting. And when we get to the point at which we are looking at defending these islands, that's going to be very interesting. I'm going to be very intrigued to see where he goes for. How you doing there, Alderaan? In Pacific, the subs win the war. And the subs are very handy. And as far as I'm concerned, it's one of these, it's a combination, really. We need a strong air power presence in the Pacific. And that one's a difficult one, but we need to be able to marshal it and basically move it about. The difficult thing is when it comes with the Allies, well, when it comes to the Allies, is the fact that they can marshal a great amount of might, and they can attack multiple islands at once if they want to. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to have to try and set up islands to... Well, we're going to have to try and set up bases to act as, like, clusters in a sense. The CVs help, but they're not the thing that wins the war. I mean, as far as it goes for winning the war, it's establishing autarky. Because the thing is, even if I lost all the carriers, but I still had the means to actually produce weapons of war, obviously the means to still produce air squadrons, well, aircraft, we could still fight. But if I lose the economy, we could still have the carriers, but if we lose the economy, then we're done anyway. I know it sounds really like I'm being facetious and crap like that, but it's one of these things, it's like, it is a point that we have to really remember. It's like, one of these things can't work without the other. But the thing is, if you use this too many nukes, he actually does lose 2 levels of victory. So it's like, what could be like the Allied win could actually become a draw, which is very interesting, actually. Okay, so they're headed into Kendari. Absolute, yep, okay. When they do arrive, they're going to begin to unload. Now, it's going to be an interesting situation. As far as we're concerned, I don't have any intelligence on where the Hermes is and the task force. We did see about 8 ships and the Hermes, about 9 ships in total, perhaps. I've got to assume that that was the Dutch Navy and potentially some allied, well, some British forces, perhaps, maybe even an American or Australian heavy cruiser, perhaps. Thing is, without the CVs, you can't make advances. Pirate, you're arguing with me, and we agree. I'm not saying that CVs are... I think we're just missing the point here. We're talking in circles. It's just one of these things. I'm just not going to say that the carriers are like the be-all and end-all, because they're not. But it's going to come a point at which we probably do lose carriers. Well, a carrier or carriers. But the war continues. The day doesn't stop just because we lost a Cargi, you know what I mean? I know what you're trying to say, and I know you're not like trying to be a dick or anything like that, and you are making a valid point. And it is an excellent point, I'm not going to take away from that. Basically, how dare you? Oh dear. Okay. And let's take a look at the situation over here then. So of course we do have the Kendari cover force. So there's Megami, Kuma, Sendai, Naka. It's a bit of an interesting one as to how we really use these assets here. At the moment, they're on... yeah, indeed, Grumble. It is an interesting one, really. Obviously, we're going to get the battleships back. Massive pain in the arse that they had that incident. They still make good speed anyway, so that's not too bad. I'm going to keep up the maximum intensity from the search planes just to make sure we can make it back. It looks like they should arrive potentially in the following turn. It is a big annoyance regarding that, but it is what it is. I'm going to have the reaction down to 0. Well, have it down to... Well, no. I don't really want them to react as such. I just want them to head for Kandari. Right. I'll have you remain on station, but just go normal threat tolerance and just head back. But the thing is, like, a carrier is very useful. Obviously, it allows for a lot. But the thing is, it's like... if we're using them to take islands... is that really making the most of them? They are great weapons of war, but they're great weapons of war when they're using a decisive role. It's like, obviously, we've had to use the Kidpatai to overwatch, and it's like at the moment we're using mini Kidpatai to overwatch our invasions over here. But this is a role that will be taken over by ground-based aircraft. The carrier is best used when it's actually used as a carrier should be, in a fleet battle. But they are versatile. But anyway, I'm not going to spend too much long going over the same points here, really, because it's like we both do agree. It's just... I think the thing is, it's like, if I get into the mindset that, oh, we'll never use the carrier, the carriers are amazing, the thing is, it's like, the first time we have one of them lost or damaged, then... I'm going to be on suicide watch. Yeah, I know what your point is. I just think that we're like, we've got to see past that point. We can't even really have damage. Damage is still dangerous. It's like even now I do need to get this damage repaired. It's not, well, it's not terribly bad, but it's something that we have to bear in mind. Okay. Now the question is, how do we actually use them in this area? After speaking with Majors, supposedly... base hexes, obviously where ports are treated as shallow ocean in that hex. So as far as it goes, if that is indeed true, it might be for the best for us actually to concentrate our air power, and just our power in general at Kandari for the time being. It's a difficult one because we really don't know what is in this general area here. But we can't stop still either, so what we are going to do then, while we are here, is I'm going to begin to load up forces. The issue is, it's like I'd like to have a support element. How much are you missing? Right. So you've got about 2/3 of your support. You've got the vast majority of your equipment and the vast majority of your numbers already, which is excellent. That's perfect. What we need to do then is we need to begin to plan for how we proceed from this point on. So, what we're going to do then is these guys are going to be set to rest. I was initially going to have them chase after the enemy force, but there's no point. So what we're going to do then, set them all to operations of this mode. And we're going to rest them. We need to give them targets as well. B can look towards Mikasa. As for the other one, it's one of those as to where. But these are targets that we need to go for. So what I'm going to do then for the time being then, is let's take a look. The danger to our forces is still present, though somewhat diminished than it was beforehand. I don't have information as to regards, well, in regards to the location of his, well, of the carrier of the Hermes. We did shoot down a lot of the actual swordfish there, so we're not doing too bad. But we can't get complacent. So, what we'll do then is we'll mass our forces over here to Kandari. We don't really have much else in the way of choices there. I'll leave the long-range combat patrol set to what it is. We're going to carry on the actual search here. Okay, they're going to head to Kandari. I mean, it is a very expected move, I can imagine. There's then new home port now. What I need to do then, and the question is, do I begin to load up forces from Kandari? Because I've got a number of cruisers there, it could, to be honest, it might be worthwhile doing so. It might be potentially worthwhile doing that now. The issue is we don't have terribly much of the way of supply. Though it might be worthwhile to get the forces loaded up now, get them ready to move, and just make good of this. I think the longer we spend stood still, the less effective this is. I think what we need to, I think what we'll do then is we'll begin loading those forces. It is a shame because obviously they could do with that rest. They do have that disruption, they do have that fatigue, but I don't think we have the luxury of waiting. I think we've got to just carry on going forward. I think if we remain, I think if we remain as we are now, we're not making the most of this. So what we are going to be doing then is we are going to be advancing on Kopang. I think what we'll be able to do here then, considering that Kopang is Timor, we don't know what the actual threat in this area is, so I'm going to be using the actual cruisers. I think as far as it goes for the operation against Mikasa, we'll have a day to rest the forces, or a couple days just to rest the forces, as quick as we possibly can, but I've got to get the actual transports over here. I'd like to get other transports in to actually have them moved over, but we'll see. But I think we'll have a little bit of time to rest those two detachments, or at least one detachment. I can imagine one detachment would be enough to actually take Mikasa, but it would be nice to have another. So what I'm going to say then is immediate preparations are going to be made to land at Kopang. That would help to secure us even further into the Banda and Timor Sea. Basically, what we're looking towards having is Manado, Kandari, Kopang, Mikasa. Those would really help us to shut down this area. What we also do need to do then is take the other bases. I mean, literally all this needs to be taken as well. And that has to begin now. So let's take a look then. The Sendai has capacity of 400 and 200 tons of supply. And the issue is that Kandari, we really don't have anything really in the way of supply. Yeah, so it's going to be the light cruisers that are going to be doing the main lift in here. I could have the heavy cruisers lift as well, which is probably not a bad idea. So in theory, let's take a look. And what I could do here then is actually attach I'm going to detach about 3 destroyers, I reckon. Though I might even do that later. I think we'll wait until our other forces arrive and then we'll do that. There is a worry as regards to as a force approaching over here, but I think we could probably manage that. I don't see an enemy force over here, so I think we'll be over cautious, really. He knows the transports are here, but he knows that the mini Kidobutai is here. He knows about this force as well, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We do have additional submarines moving into the area as well, so we do have that to help us out. But as far as it goes, I can imagine he's going to have a good idea of the approximation of our strength, and he knows we have the carriers, and I think that's it, really. So, how do we take this? I'd love to get supply flown in here. Absolutely bloody well would love to do that. So the moment I've got the MSC-21 salaries over here, they have a range of 12 at its standard. The issue is that's not really good enough. 16 there. From Davao to Manado is 8 hexes. Well, we did see that force, and that force has, I don't know, it could still be in the area. So it's one of these things I am a little bit reluctant. It might be, to be fair, actually. What we'll do then is we'll rest one day, and then we'll load up the forces. I think that's worthwhile. If we take a look then, so what are their soft stats? So, yeah, 22, 20. You do tend to get a bigger, like, yeah, but this will be worthwhile. We'll have them rest then one day. Transports will arrive over here, so once they arrive over there, once the mini-Kitabatai arrives over there, then we can have them rest. Then again, with the mini-Kitabatai, the issue comes down to fuel. I do need some fuel. So I'd like to move to Kendari. The reason being, at least we're in a protected position then. Because the thing is, if I move out into the Banzai, I'd consider moving out to the Banzai here. And do you really have time to stay? I think we do have time to stay. I think we can, well, this is it really. Well, the subs are over here. It looks like he moved the vast majority of the submarines over this way. And the beauty is obviously with Kendari. A base hex is supposedly treated as a shallow ocean, supposedly. So we do have a, well, we have the best chance that we possibly can against submarines over there at Kendari. It's one of these things. It's like if I go back, we're going to be running the gauntlet of all those submarines as well. But at least at Kendari we do have a little bit in the way of distance. The submarines to the north over here could maybe... They could probably make it there in a day if they ran full speed perhaps, or they could maybe even make it there in a day anyway. But it depends really. He's seen assets around this area. So he's aware of them. He's not aware of them. That submarine I-165 is moving down there. Yeah. Depends on how he reacts to the situation really. But I can't just keep... I mean, he's got a submarine over here, but I've got destroyers. What I'm going to do then, considering the fact that we do have a number of destroyers here that aren't actually capable of ASW. Let's see. Kagiro. Yeah, these are nice depth chargers. So these are probably better. So those two can remain in the task force, these two can go on ASW. So patrol Kendari. Home port is Kendari. Just slightly too big to dock. And that really shows you the size of Kendari's port there. And I'm going to be keeping the search patterns up over here as we did have them set beforehand. We're going to keep basically the same mission parameters as we did have in the previous turn. I mean, that is, it might be due to the fact, I don't know, I might have potentially lost track of him. So I don't really want to take a risk there. It's like, our intelligence is very good in this area, it seems. But he might have pulled back somewhat. He might be over here as Soraya. Well, Soraya, however you pronounce it. But I don't want to take that risk. So I'm going to keep it up as it is right now. It just means that we have a good idea of what's in the area. The fact as well is if we're running the naval search as well from the aircraft, it does make it harder for these submarines to actually operate. And they've got other things to be contending with as well. So I do think this is the right move. I need to get this supply unloaded as well. We're carrying about 4,000 tons of supply, which is really not a lot of supply. That is desperately needed there. Right. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do, the MT-21 Sallies don't have the largest in the way of range. But I'm going to have them transferred over here to Naga. They're going to be moving supply. What is the fatigue? Fatigue of the aircraft is not too bad, actually. I'll have about 10% rest and just make sure that they don't just burn themselves out. Well, actually, we'll have 20% rest, and then they're definitely going to burn themselves out. So I'm going to have them move supply over here to Devour. At least from Devour, I can actually pick up some supply. They don't need to go their full distance. I'm going to have it just turn down to their normal, which is 10, which is fine. If they had further range, I'd love to use them elsewhere. But what I'll do then is move supply over here to Devour. I'm going to have these ships actually move up here to Devour. Then I can pick up additional supply. We're going to have additional supply, and a lot of elements are going to be coming down here shortly. Now the big question. We do have the K-43-1B Oscars over here. Ah, that's kind of irritating, actually. That's kind of irritating. Huh, yeah. Okay, that is a bit of a pain in the arse. I was hoping I could break up the Oscars. Fatigue ain't bad. It's not too bad. I got a lot of extra fighters in there. Well, pilots, sorry. I only needed 2, goddammit. Oh well, we'll have a couple. We'll have 3 extra pilots and it'll help out. So release to active. Right, drop tanks. We're going to move them to Kandari. Okay, so the issue here is at Kandari, we do not actually have aviation support at this moment in time. But the aviation is going to be arriving here piecemeal. It will arrive in a big wave once the actual headquarters arrives. And the beauty is, it's like, if we take a look over here then, this is a big, big operation, to be honest. The 23rd Air Flotilla is going to be arriving in the next few days. Yeah, so we'll say maybe about a week until the actual air flotilla arrives. But that's excellent. That is actually really, really good. Let's say about a week. The only way I could have done better if we already had it underway, which would have been nice, but obviously we didn't think that far through, really. I think we had something different in mind, and it really went very different. But so far, so good. We haven't taken losses as such, and we've inflicted losses upon him. We managed to shoot down his complement of the Swordfish aboard Hermes. They're probably not all gone. Now, I've been thinking about this one. We did see the actual air losses, about 11 Swordfish. But I think, well, we definitely shot down 6, I think. 6 or 8, something in that sort of region. I think we'd shot a few down. Well, we know we definitely shot down 6, so I think we shot down the vast majority of his complement, but maybe not all of it. And I think some of them were from earlier in the war. So I think, I'm pretty sure we didn't shoot down 11 there from Hermes. Maybe 6, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less, but something in that sort of region. Okay. So the good news is, once the actual headquarters arrives over here at Kandari, that means we really can roam pretty damn wild over here. Like, take a look over here then. So ranges have just become really nice there. So 7 to there. But yeah, I need that aviation support. I'm going to get a little bit in this turn, and it is really pushing it here. It is really pushing it. We do have the Yokohama KUU-1, which is the HK6 what is it, the H6K4 L2s? Yep, the H6K2 L Mavises, sorry. They're flying their absolute max here. They can make 25. They're flying really quite far there. Fatigue's going to really rapidly ramp up there, so we do have to be careful. But it is worthwhile. We're going to move in elements of the 9th in. These guys over here. So they're unloaded at the moment. I need to find an actual proper purpose for them. It would be too dangerous to have them move into these waters. They're too valuable, really. So I'll more than likely have them do supply runs. Though more than likely they're going to take the engineers from Babaltwab that could and should be shifted over to Malaya. So they're going to go over that way. Now, I've got the APDs over here, Akikazi and Yohikazi, or Yuikazi. They're going to be taking the other elements of the 9th as well. So what I'm hoping is then, in about 2-3 days, we'll have some aviation support. We should have a little bit, maybe, next turn. These guys are going to break down, but we've got them here now. Fatigue's not too bad. The planes aren't too bad either, so they should last a little while. The thing is, we can't repair them. So what we're going to do then is, I'm going to have a 30% rest. I'm going to set them about 20,000 feet. Let's see. 5. Yeah. But the beautiful thing here then is I can fly combat air patrol. Like, immediately we'll have combat air patrol. What we should do, theoretically, we should have it over the actual base as of next turn. So that's something he's not going to have taken into account, because like, how would he know that we'd have like KF-43s immediately here? So we're doing really good there. That's going to work out very well for us. It means that we have additional security over the top of the actual forces over here, which is really very nice. Very, very nice. So as far as it goes, what I might do here then is potentially relax these zeros. These guys are in full escort. They're in full escort. You're doing full escort over there, but that fatigue really is rapidly rising. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to decrease that. I'm going to have them run 30% combat air patrol. Well, I'll go for about 60-40. I really can't push them too hard. See, we've had some breakdowns over there. Zui Ho will more than likely be here. Right, there we go. So when would Japan win? I think, I can't remember what the actual number is, but we have to have like more victory points than he does at certain points of the year. Like at the end of the year it'll do a check, and if we have like the number of victory points we need, we'll get an automatic victory. But other than that, you have the automatic victories each year that you can potentially achieve, but you've got to be really doing well. You've got to be a really, really good Japanese player or a really bad allied player. But I mean, this is it. The war could go on for years, you know what I mean? It's really hard to say, but it's one of those where we can't really get sidetracked as such. We'll see. There's an element of me that thinks, is it maybe potentially worthwhile doing a amphibious landing over there and marching over there to Mikasa? Might be worthwhile doing that, but we'll be able to consult there. I mean, ultimately what we want to be doing now is trying to gather some intelligence. So let's take a look. We do have the float planes aboard the Chiyoda. What I'm going to do is divide this unit. We're going to gather intelligence in this area. So I'm going to be running reconnaissance over Mikasa, which I can imagine is probably going to have aircraft at. Ambon. Thing is, I don't want to do reconnaissance until I'm ready to hit Kopang. I don't want to give it away as a possible target. I'll have them just do general reconnaissance. Yeah, so we're gonna have Casa, Ambon. So those ones are going to be under reconnaissance now. It might, to be honest, it might be worthwhile just to gather more information about Mikasa, perhaps. The thing is, if there are allied ground-based planes at these bases, then we can definitely try to strike at them and try to actually ground them. So it does depend. Yeah, but then again, I might just use. I think once we get some aviation support out here, I can get some bombers out here, and then probably just use bombers. But we'll see. We'll see what the actual situation is. So, frankly, we don't have politically well walking into here, so I'm going for conservative action over here. Well, we don't have a huge amount of supplies. We're going to be eating into these supplies as well, by the way. So that's not going to be easy. So we'll have them rest as much as they can do. I'd say a detachment of a division is more than enough to secure all these bases. We just have to be smart. I'm still somewhat tempted to actually have them load up on the fast transports, but the thing is, it's like... or do we? It'd be a risk. It would be a risk. I'll have the, yeah, it'll have to be a fast transport. I'll have the light cruisers load up. So Sendai Naka. I'm gonna keep Megami and Mikuma ready for action. Now these guys can dock. So I'm gonna have them dock. I'm gonna load up a detachment. See, that's the thing, they'd have to be in strategic. Oh, can they do amphibious? Oh, thank God for that. Oh, never mind. So it's one of those things, it's like we could have them load up for the fast transport, but we'd be sure to lose a fair amount. It depends, really. I think we need information. Okay. I think the reality of the situation is we need reconnaissance. It is pushing that range, but I do need some level of reconnaissance. I mean, taking Kopang would really be very helpful. And let's go ahead and take a look then. And it is jungle. Are there any roads? I mean, it's a level 1 port there. Yeah, there's no roads there. How you doing there, Pino? Good to have you as always, my friend. Yeah, so I think that's what we're going to go for then. I don't think it's particularly... I think... Yeah, none of them have overly much in the way of troop support, really. I think, it's rough, really. I think if we... Yeah, we'll run reconnaissance. We'll run the reconnaissance, get an idea of what we're dealing with. If resistance is fairly low... Yeah, if the resistance is low, then that means that we do have a decent chance of success. So we'll run reconnaissance. It gives the troops time to rest as well. So while they're resting, we'll gather that information if we can do, and then we can try to make a actual guess, educated guess, really. As in all, honestly, an educated guess. So we'll have them transferred back into the actual force over here then. And the good news is like, we have combat patrol over the area now. Obviously, the mini Kabadai is going to be moving into Kandari. I need to get, I need to get supply here. I need to get fuel here. That would be essential. We do have the Kashino and a submarine tender. They're going to move it around here to Bavaldwan. But I do need fuel. We do have the Aoba of Nagara, and that's a pretty damn good force there. The question comes down to how do we want to use our surface assets outside, well, out in this way. I think as far as it goes, we do have the Kitabatai. So I don't think we really need to retain much in the way of surface assets. I think that'd make a nice escort force. I might even just have the light cruiser escort, rather than the heavy cruiser. Oh dear. Okay, we've got these troops aboard. Yeah, these guys are going to need to take bases as well. Have they done loading? Right, loading has been completed. I'm going to have them load supplies as well, actually. So I've got about 818 troops aboard there. When does Aoba undergo an upgrade? Not till 44. Yeah, it's a long time. Okay. Upgrade you to Jakes. I'll give you a reserve as well. You do have a little bit of engine damage as well. Right, we'll take Aoba out. Higiros. Fubuki. She needs to go back home and upgrade. Yeah. I'm using that, wasn't it, really? If you are interested in these Japanese light cruisers, I'm going to have to do some research into really how they were envisioned being used. So they do have a good amount of firepower. It's just, they're in this weird position where they're not a destroyer, they're not a heavy cruiser. It's one of these, isn't it? It's like a big old armored destroyer, really. That armor is handy. It's just the woeful amount of AA. And the lack of anti-submarine warfare These are very good destroyers as well. They've got a good amount of range. Yeah, destroy fertilities, yeah, pretty much. Range is good. I think it's a decent force escort to tanker. There's fuel over at Baldoab as well, so we're going to bear that in mind. What's the speed of that, actually? 13. Do we have a faster one? Got some fast tankers over here, but they're not fueled on. Yeah, 13. You're fueled on, you'll do. It's a good amount of fuel there as well. Yeah, there's a lot of fuel there. I intend to have these Gigiros trade out with some of the destroyers in the mini-kit battalion as well. We'll have a second use of them after. Right, so they're going to be tested ahead to the Baldoir. I'm going to have you go about wide there. And then you're going to make your way over there. APDs are moving in there as well. Yeah, I think that's kind of dead there. I'd have to actually get some aviation, get some actual additional ones in there. Until the Agano clash, Japanese light cruisers are meant for submarine and destroyer squadrons. Yeah. You're taking out the elements of the 24th Infantry. These guys, yeah, these mine layers, they're moving in here. I'm going to have a mine layer at each of these bases. The reason being, well, more or less a mine layer at each of these bases, but a good few of them at each of those bases. The reason being then, I can decide where I need to drop my mines. And we can obviously maintain those mines. The thing is, the beauty of the mine is, it's great. Obviously, they're significantly less effective once they've been discovered, but it's one of those things, it's like they are effective the first time. And that might be all we need, really. But we'll see. I'm just hoping that we'll be able to get some good solid use out of them. But it's good to have them. Good to have them. Let's take a look at the kit battalion. So we've stepped down the amount of combat air patrol. Yeah, pretty much. I think they were originally named as such as torpedoes, weren't they, or something? Yeah, that's it. These guys are 100% in the moment. Yes, that's an anomaly. I guess 5 seconds? I think. Apparently there's a delay here. Can I lower that? I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if that's really gonna do that. Okay, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Okay. Oh, right, okay, is that what it means? Right, fair enough. Right, so let's take a look then. We've looked at the actual float planes, let's take a look at the actual aircraft. 30%. 30, yep. Okay. Yeah, so the thing is, it's like, moving in deep ocean here. I think what I might do then is actually bring one of these, I mean, that's the first waypoint down. Gonna just bring it a little bit closer towards Russell Island. Oh, 17 seconds. I don't know. It is what it is anyway. Fine. That's fine. I'll deal with it. Oh, right. Okay. Excellent. So, the 11th Air Fleet will arrive in Rabaul tomorrow then. How you doing there, Roachy? Good to have you on board, my man. Obviously, for those of you unaware of Roach, do go ahead and check out his channel. Awesome content. I'm running naval search at the moment. Okay. I'm somewhat tempted to maybe run ASW instead, perhaps. But I don't know. No. I think naval search is worth it. So they're going on their way back to truck as well. See, these bad boys need to be sent back to Japan or where they can be converted. Because these can actually make okay troll boats, really. Just have them allow us to make a direct path. Okay, sorry about that. I was just replying to a message, actually. No problem, sorry. I'm going to be buying Farming Simulator for £50. I'm like, fucking what? £50? What the fuck? That's a lot of cash. It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So this is the thing. I don't even know what games I buy anymore. Like, well, when was the last time I bought a game? Let's not bring Steam up. There we go. I can't remember the last game I bought. How goes the war? Good question there, Rochi. Well, I mean, interestingly, we didn't have the engagement over here that we expected. We did take Kandari. Numea continues to stand, unfortunately. How you doing there, Sean? Yeah, it continues to stand. But what we're going to be doing then is we are going to approach this in a... yeah, talking about this with Infinite. So, for example, you see here the 8th Tanker Regiment, 27, 26. What we kind of want to do then is have them carry on fight until these numbers pass 25. Because you gain more from the actual rest than you do if it was, obviously, a lower number. So we're going to go for another deliberate attack with everything tomorrow. If that doesn't work, what we're going to do then is start being rest in the most damaged unit, but obviously keep the others fighting. So if it comes down to it, we'll have to, well, what's the word, to treat him? Into dust, really. You say that, but we're in the we're in a good position right now. Oh dear. Right then, so we've got our settings here, though, which is fine. I don't know why I've got a 10% rest there. It's not really worth it, is it? There's not that many of them. Let's turn that off for the time being. Okay, so we'll be hitting Singapore tomorrow then. Bataan as well. We moved our 43 1Bs over here to Kandari. So we have a great amount of logistical elements coming down here then. It looks as if it's trying to block off this area, but that's okay. As far as it goes, I'm just going to keep up the actual... just keep it on. Once I can get a decent amount of aircraft in this area, we'll be able to really make it difficult for them to be effective. Cebu is something I need to do. I need to work on. Now, we do have the ship over here, carrying the SLF. I'd like to get that moving, but I would like to have an actual escort. Now, luckily, we actually do have that. I did dispatch that last turn. Yep, so the torpedo boat Chidori is going to be meeting up with the actual ship over here. I could potentially have her head out at sea, but it's one of those things, it's like if there's a submarine here, it's a little bit risky. So what we'll do then is obviously have her meet up. Then I believe what I'm going to do then is use the car, first SLF, and then could potentially take these other bases here in the Philippines. But I'll more than likely have her land at one of these bases over here potentially, and then march down. The force at Manado, how we pronounce it. I just need some more supply there, then we can begin to attack. I don't know what the actual garrison's strength is. Well, we do have an idea of it. It's got 9 guns, supposedly. So... looks like we matched them, but I'd like to get another SLF unit over there. Naval Guard unit over there. Okay. Now, the G3 is back in position over here. They're running naval search at the moment. Right, destroying minesweepers over there, so obviously we're unloading. I could really do some proper escorts here, but this does actually move pretty quickly, actually, so it's not a easy luxury. I'm going to have them replenish the port while they are here, makes sense. Okay. Right, what we're going to do then is I'm going to... so as far as it goes here, obviously the Makassar Strait is going to be effectively shut down now. The Banda Sea is going to be shut down, the Small Sea is going to be shut down. So really, he's going to be moving everything through this area over here. It's going to be pretty difficult, but I'm going to have to try and get something to the other side over here. Got to get them out that way. It's a low threat threshold. I need them on the other side. But at least I can begin to try and shut down that area as well. With that, we'll be able to stop the fuel. Well, the flow of fuel out. I can imagine he's moved a good deal of fuel out, which is... it's an issue. But we'll be able to manage. Unless Japan... won... do you mean... when you say won? Won? Do you mean like won? You make me... I'm talking weird now. When you say won, do you mean won? Let's go with our fight winning this war. Okay, well that's irrelevant. Now arrest the forces there. Yeah, I was like reading that, I'm like, one. This is like making me kind of a bit like wappy. Oh dear. Okay. So let's see. I've got a small submarine patrol there, but I'm going to look at sending another one. So these guys are going to be heading out over there. I'm going to have you move out there as well. I've really got to have a lot of the submarines make a break out this way. It'll be difficult, but I'm going to have them set to the low threat threshold, basically make it through there. And I want you to keep on moving, you can't just stop. Why is your speed 14 knots? Is it really that slow? Jesus, you are slow. To be honest, you're a little bit too slow to be too useful. So I'm going to do then is have you actually patrol up and down there. Okay. Normal threat tolerance. You're moving out that way. You're moving out that way. You're going down there. But as far as I'm concerned, we don't really need submarines down there anymore. I'm going to have them all basically move this way. I want to get as many submarines as I can to this other side. Okay. So let's take a look at these guys. They do need to be rearmed. They're refueled, but they need to be rearmed. So we'll have the actual submarine tender arrive in here next turn. You don't actually have any supply in your tender, but we'll get that tender loaded. I'm going to have to get some supply in down here. 3,600. Right, cargo, so is it that kind of resources here? Still loading, so it's to take a long time. We do have some useful ships in here as well that I would like to have used elsewhere. But I'm loading these resources from Indochina. Alright, let's see. Good, the Yansuyu's arrived. What I'm going to have them do is do a fast transport mission then. So dock up, load supplies. Time it is allowed, that's fine. Okay, they're going to be carrying supplies between Saigon and Miri. It's a shame that I can't make it a continuous supply. But that works for me. So we're going to be aiming to try and get about 3,000 tons of supply into there. And basically do these supply runs, get supply moving to Sarawak. We've increased the amount of reconnaissance that we do have here. We're going to have the ability to actually tend to our submarines over here. We'll have fuel. We'll have the ability to rearm them. I'll see you later then, 80. Have a beautiful evening, my friend. Yeah, so once we get the additional supply here, we'll be able to keep that going. Okay. Are you ready yet? Finally finished loading there. That's been a pain in the arse, so we're going to have you make your way over to Bangkok. Or is that even worthwhile? Someone's responded to a message here, actually. Okay. Right, speaking of that, Okay, so do we actually really want that aerial headquarters over here at Bangkok? It'd be handy, but it's ultimately not that useful right now. I reckon I could probably do more with it. Would it be useful around Miri? Not so very much. It would... I don't know, maybe. Maybe. Let's see, what's the distance from Bangkok to Rangoon? We know he's bringing in supply over here, so we do obviously need to make an effort to prevent additional supply moving into Burma and therefore moving into China. As far as it goes with the Burma theatre is irrelevant for the time being. We started to make inroads there using the Thai forces, but that's obviously just to make use of the Thai forces because they can't have them march all the way down to Singapore due to their house rules. So we'll have, so we've got the operations at Changsha. I mean, the good thing is about the operations at Changsha and in China in general. We're going to be drawing a lot of the supply that is potentially coming from Burma, and it's going to be drying up, obviously, due to these battles. We'll say that in about a week, we're going to begin the actual large-scale battles at Changsha. Obviously, going to be moving a few divisions down from Changsha and all the armor in China. That's going to make its way down to where the 104th Division is. Obviously, then they're going to be crossing at Henyang. So as far as it goes, within about a week, we're going to begin the first large-scale battle since Luoyang. It does look like he's actually pulling his forces back to Xi'an. I can't see them, but then again, I'm not running reconnaissance over there, so they might still be there, but I'm not seeing them. So he might have actually left that hex, which I'm not surprised, because he had them basically sat out there doing F-all. They're just eating supply, really, which is really, really inefficient. Because there's nowhere for it actually to be stored. I mean, I don't think that's a base. Is it a base? Yeah, there's no base there, so that was really, really kind of silly. He just kind of kept them there, and they're just eating supply. So, that's cool. It looks like they may be pulled back, but I can't be certain unless I ran reconnaissance. Let's see, I do have this... Which forces are on the way to Wangkao? How you doing, therefore? Well, the engineer regiment's on its way. These guys are going to be launching a bombardment next turn, so obviously we're just doing this to identify what the target is. I could probably handle it, but I don't have information, so I'm going to make sure we have information before we do attack. We do have another Mort battalion on its way as well. It's nothing special, but it's just additional artillery after all. Still comes in handy. I'd be tempted to actually begin the first battles against Wenkao, but I might as well wait until the engineers arrive. At least I make good on what I'm doing there. But actually, speaking of Wenkao, I'm glad we actually did mention that. So we are targeting ground forces over here. We could potentially even come in lower, maybe. I might try about 6,000 feet. It's about, well, fatigue's not too bad, actually. We'll have about 10% on the way rest. Well, actually, no, buggered it. Really try to ramp up the damage there. We've obviously moved a lot of bombers over here as well. So we're going to be sweeping in random... Well, we're going to be sweeping over the bases over here, ideally. But also we do have a decent escort of K-27s. But as far as it goes, we must hit the ground forces here. We did debate really... Well, I did talk to Infinite about whether it's worthwhile trying to hit this force over here via air. As far as it goes, it's like we're not hitting the actual airfield at Changsha due to the fact that it's not really going to do us any particularly good here at the moment. So what we're going to do is, rather than target the forces there, we're sending 3 divisions and the armor to go deal with them. That'll be enough. We're going to hit the forces at Changsha. I mean, the forces at Changsha, I mean, they're under bombardment each turn. So what we're going to do then is bomb his ground forces. It's just causing disruption. Causing some losses, really. And just make sure that his units, accrue, I think is the word, fatigue and disruption. So that when the battle for Changsha actually does begin, we'll be able to grind them away pretty quickly. But yeah, the battle... As far as it goes, I mean, Changsha is going to be grinding him down. Every point of disruption fatigue on the enemy is another point in favour of a complete victory in the field. Ah, how you doing there, Shiver Sprite? I like that name. Yeah, exactly. It is worthwhile. I mean, the ones to the south, it's like I could bomb them, but the thing is, it's like I'm going to have the divisions making their way down there to actually engage them. Like, they're going to be in times 2 defensive terrain, I believe it is, but they don't have any fortifications, and they've got nowhere else to really fall back to. So, a couple battles will be able to beat them off. The 104th is going to be moving to cut them off as well. But yeah, they'll not last too much longer. And once we force them out of that hex as well, then they lose access to supply, really. So we'll see. But for the time being, we'll continue to bomb Changsha. Depending on when the actual divisions arrive, I might go ahead and just keep... I might use the ground power, well, ground attack power against the forces to the south, and once we do have decent detection rate over them, or detection level over them. Something like that anyway. We'll see. Got to see how things go. We're marching on Nanning. Okay, they're marching on Nanning as well. I mean, if there's only... as reported, a few thousand men over here, we might be able to deal with that. I mean, if we got another mixed brigade, 2 mixed brigades should be able to manage that. Well, 1 mixed brigade potentially could manage it. But I'd like to have a second one. Right. These forces are awaiting the 38th Division. A mix of fast transports and some slow transports in here, actually. Okay. But this will be done soon enough. The good news is, once I do take care of this force here, we'll see. So I might not even need that mixed brigade there. I might even have it just continue to attack and move over this way to actually aid with garrison duties. We'll see. Yeah, now the big question is, where do I move out of aerial headquarters? Hey, to be honest, you know what? We'll have it move into Malaya. Is it enough for a division? What's that story for? There's a lot of fuel that I could have brew. Not a huge amount of supply, but a lot of fuel. I could have these guys head to Kilgore, actually. That's 7 hexes, that's 8 hexes. It's a level 2 port. Yeah, we'll have them head to Kilgore. I'm gonna take... Ah, right, okay. Do I want to be unloading here? What's the size of the port here? Ah, it's also size 2, okay. Well, then what we'll do then, because that port's going to be quite busy for some time, is we'll have them head into Kutabaru. Offload once you arrive there. Yeah, the AVs are moving out. Looking forward to making use of those. Okay, we're going to set up the actual patrols. There's a bit of a speed disparity there. I've got one at 10 and another at 15. I'll swap them around. Oh god, yeah. Oh, the ones at Canton. I'm gonna have some additional transports moving over that way. But it's one of those, it should be able to manage it. I've got some additional APs that are gonna be travelling down from, like, Shanghai, and, well, travelling to Shanghai. Even if it isn't enough to move the entire division, then it'll move a good amount of it. In England, so my wife has kind of spotty. Fair enough. Not too much there, Sean. So these are 15s as well. I'll have them work together. I could have the patrol boat and the sub chase and actually work together. So what I'll do then, take you. 15's very good actually. That's decent enough, decent enough. There is fuel down here at Kwantan. There's a little bit of fuel down here at Johor Bahru as well, actually. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to have these guys move to Kwantan. I'm going to have them patrol outside there. Oh, that's cool. How was Normandy then? I can imagine the weather's a little bit crazy out there. Okay, we'll patrol around Kwantan. Oh, that's awesome. That sounds really awesome, actually. Definitely kind of jealous. That sounds awesome, my dude. Glad you had a good time. Still got room here. I tell you what we're gonna do, man. Just Nina's over there. Okay, I can make use of these guys. They're gonna transfer over here to Kotobro. And they're gonna transfer down to Singapore as well, then more than likely. Any bomber I can grab is gonna be worthwhile. Then they're gonna make their way down to Singapore, well, to Johor. But I need these fighters too. Let's see. They might be able to make a Johor. Yeah, they can. Fantastic. I've got some Claudes over here and some more 27s. Right, what's the actual aviation support at Johor? It is plenty enough. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because I want to begin to set up the process. Because obviously he's got his fighters over here, so we're going to be running our naval surge. So we're obviously going to be going ahead with the attack on Singapore again, and obviously keep this up day in day out now from this point on. But what I want to do is, once we do crush his actual combat patrol, is I'm going to have the Ki-27s there to actually escort the G3s as they attack the ships in the harbour in and around Singapore. I really do want to shut down his ability. I've got a submarine tender over there, but I could do a move in. There's a whole bunch of troop transports over here that I need to get moving out of here, actually. You still got a little bit of supply there. No, sounds really good. Sounds really good, mine. Right, what I'm going to do is take these destroy minesweepers. Issues are so goddamn fast, isn't it? But yes, these guys are going to go over to, I'm going to say more than likely Canton. They're going to go over there to go pick up the 38th Division as well. Okay. To be honest, that's probably... we've got a lot of AA there. As far as it goes for Japan, we've probably got the most amount of AA. At least in Marie. I need to move... Well, I need to make a move on Tinkwang. That one's going to be a little bit harder. What we're going to be looking towards doing then, I'm a little bit... I think what we're going to do then is we're going to crush air power over here at Singapore. From that point on then, what I'll be able to do is start launching the G3s and attacking these ships over here. Once we do clear out the majority of them, at least clear out this area in general, I can begin to defang Singapore there. So that means obviously I can begin to use the destroy minesweepers from about there to start sweeping the mines. But as well, I mean that's going to be a difficult task, but it needs to be done. But as well, I'll be able to move naval forces over here. But it's a good thing we've got naval bombers over here again. Need to have that ability. The naval bombers over here are going to be clearing out this area as well. Okay. Right, what's the aviation support again at Johor actually? I do that jet tank? Yep, it is indeed. Right, 137. Yeah, I can imagine I can manage another group there. How close are you towards a victory? A little while away now. I don't know what the actual specific one is, but it is only January. Oh, Sean, ever the pessimist. Okay. Don't want to have these guys upgrading. Drop tanks are on, that's good. Right, oh. Get them moving in over there. Yeah, definitely. Okay, that should be sufficient there. Well, I mean, it's interesting. When we did begin the game, and it's one of these things like THG did have more play-by-ear experience when we did begin the game. So I did begin it in a, I suppose, a little bit of a back foot. We did have some misunderstandings on actual house rules, which actually did impact on my ability, really. It's one of those things, it's like there was a lot of confusion in the early days on my part. Because I didn't realise, well, I didn't know if I was able to actually hunt his carriers during the entire month of December, or whether I had to wait a week or something like that. So there's a lot of, like, I was umming and ahhing about whether I was able to do that. And turns out apparently it was just one day when I actually asked him, so wish I'd asked him that at the time. But yeah, made a lot of beginner mistakes. But it's been interesting. It's one of these things, isn't it? It's like, had we made the perfect moves, it would have been nice. It would have been like, oh wow, spectacular. But we do learn the most from the campaigns that we do lose. I'm not saying that we will lose this one, but I mean, the chances are stacked against Japan anyway. But I think we can do well. I think we're beginning to edge it back. And we'll see. We'll see. Oh, come on, Sean. Don't be boring. Okay, then we're in combat patrol. I'm going to have, we'll have 20% of them rest. They're looking pretty good, actually. Have their altitude increase to 20,000 feet. Don't really need the drop tanks. Right, all 27s do this. So you can actually be 42 in this squadron. What are we looking at the moment? 129, 137, we can manage that. Right, perfect. mean, in theory, I could actually go ahead and begin the, I don't see any large targets here. I'm going to keep the numbers low. But I think we'll attempt it. I'm going to have about 30% of the squadron actually able to attack. And more than likely they'll attack over here. I've got the Ki-27s. I'm going to use them as escorts, really. And with that, we could have the Tojo sweep as well. I think we'll sweep with the Tojos. Okay. Yeah, you've got to look at the, you've got to look at things a little bit differently there, Sean. Like, look at the, on strength, well, the on paper strength, obviously, of the Third Reich of the Soviet Union. It's like, obviously, in the end, the Third Reich ultimately did lose, but look at the initial successes. It's one of those things where the paper numbers obviously are relevant, but there's obviously all these points in history where things could have been different if men had done different things, had things been different. So, like, paper strength is all well and good, but it does make a difference. There's so many places in history where things could have been absolutely different if one thing had been changed. So it's one of those things, you can't be like an absolutist and say, oh, there's always going to lose the war. Like, retrospectively, yes, you can say that, but at the time, you can't. What if they sweep first and get killed by a 40? God damn it, 4. You and your logic. I could have them stand down until we know what... Yeah, I'll have them escort, actually. Just bloody escort will be fine, then. Well, this is it, but it's like when you get into the argument of, well, what would historical Japan have done? It's one of those things, if we'd seen the same situation done twice... Would they make the same decisions? It's one of these things. It's like you can't say that really. But anyway, like I get the idea. It's like I don't. The way to put it is, it's like just don't be a bummer. I appreciate all the insightfulness. I appreciate obviously your love of history, but it's just come on, don't be a bummer. So it's one of those things, it's like, I could be like, okay, well, yeah, we're never going to win, and then I could pack in the series, and it's like, well, that's no fun. I've got to have some positivity, and we're going to have some positivity. So the fact is, we can potentially win this. And the thing is, well, this is it. We do have a lot of opportunities here. It's only January as well. We're making good inroads here. China should be one by about by the end of the year, to be honest. Oh, don't worry about a pirate. I mean, Sean is more than welcome to stay. It's just one of these things. It's like, just... I appreciate the insightfulness. I appreciate, obviously, the view from history, but it's one of those things that, like, just don't be a bummer. Okay, so we discussed obviously the strategy in China. I don't think China's going to take too long. We'll eventually break the Ganas and Wenkao. We're also going to be increasing the bombing attacks over here as well. And ultimately, within about a week, we'll begin the actual offensive. And the thing is, once he loses here, it's still going to be a long slog over here to Juking, but it is going to be significantly easier. What we'll do is we'll take a decent number of forces and have them railed back over here to Xinjiang, and then we'll begin the push potentially to Nanyang and engage the Chinese army there. Yeah, I mean, this is it. THG is a fantastic opponent. It's just one of these things, is obviously the way we approach things is very different. It's like, obviously, THG, he'll do... I mean, this is one of these things. It's like, I don't know, but... I think from speaking to him, he records his, well, I think he streams his reaction to the actual replay, but I think he records it and edits it together or something. But it's a very different approach. So I can understand. It's like, I can understand, but it's like, I mean, this is it. The way I approach things is like long, drawn out, and kind of boring, but the thing is, it's like everybody's able to actually be here in the moment. Everybody gets to have their opinion, which is always really quite fun. So the troops in China may be home by Christmas. Potentially so. Potentially so. Okay, so we decided on moves here. So these elements need to make it back, which is understandable. I think we're near enough done with the turn here, to be honest. You know, that actually reminds me of that, Pirates. I was looking online yesterday on Amazon about, and I actually did see a book I'm kind of interested in. Let's see. Wishlist. I do need to start reading a lot more. It's just one of those things. It's like I've got a lot of these books. It's just really forcing itself sometimes. Ah, there we go. Wishlist. Yeah, the only issue is it looks like only the hardcover is available. But I saw this book the other day and I thought that looks quite interesting bit, actually. The 1929 sign of Soviet War. Seems kind of interesting, actually. When I saw the review there by Dividend Glance, I'm like, well, that's not bad at all, really. But yeah, it seems quite interesting. Let's see. This unprecedented, credible, and interesting study of the 20th century's most obscure war highlights the complexity inherent in the prolonged struggle for political dominance in Northeast Asia. Yep, so that sounds quite interesting. So that's a book I'm going to be looking at in the near future as well. It's just, I'd love to try and find this as a softback or something like that. I mean, £42 is a hell of a lot of cash. Okay. Are you planning a push up to Xi'an to force the HG to fall back to Chongqing? To me it seems like winning play, especially if you manage to cross the mountains. No. It'd be hell. It's one of those of, the reason I'd be marching towards Nanyang is this is clear terrain. It's one of these, it's like, Xi'an is clear terrain, but there's a lot of wooded over here. Eventually. But I'd rather focus efforts towards Chongqing. This is going to be in parts just to try and defeat the Chinese army in the field and really prevent a counterattack. We'll not take too much of the way of power. We'll keep a good sizable amount of our power over here to keep moving on towards Chongqing. Well, what is it? What's the word? Inexorably? I can't remember the word now, how you pronounce it. Inexorably. Ah, goddammit. But yeah, eventually the push towards Xi'an will come, but it's going to be after Chongqing, I'd imagine. Potentially before, but even then, if I do that, it's going to take a lot of power away. It's one of these of where we could potentially march like that, but it's a long way. Yeah. I mean, what are the roads out there like? They're not bad. I mean, that's not a bad road there at all. It's just one of those things of like, we know there's about 160,000 troops in Nanyang. There's a similar number over here as well, so in theory we could potentially deal with like 300 to 400,000 Chinese troops as well. Okay. So still resting out here as well. So this is what we want. These guys are going to be going. That's fine. So let's take a look then. I think we were a little bit over the actual... I'm going to have these guys move out. What's their range actually? Their range is 11. I'll have them move to Miri, actually, first of all, perhaps. Well, then again. I'll actually have them fly from Kwantan. Kwantan's a little bit damaged at the moment. Actually, what is the damage at Kwantan? Kwantan 63, so I don't think we'll really be able to fly from there. It'll eventually be in Singora. Okay. I'll have them fly to Miri. It'll be helpful against the actual enemy submarines out there. 11 hexes as well, so let's take a look. Potentially, let's see. Barakpapan is 10 hexes away. So I could only really just see this. I mean, I could have a good line of sight over the Celibus Sea. Yeah, that's fine by me. Works well enough. It takes them out of Malaya. A little bit surplus requirement, really. Okay. I do need to get the garrisons worked out here as well. Let's see. Seven fleets planned for Singapore, okay. Do I need a garrison here? At Kamran Bay? I don't think I actually do. No, I don't appear to need a garrison here. What do I have here then? Right, engineers. And a base force. God, it's only the second. Where the hell's the rest of our unit? Kamran, Miri, okay. Right, I'm gonna have these guys go down to Kwantan, actually. I'm gonna base them down at Kwantan. What I'm hoping to do here, really, is raise the flag out there. I want to have them available for action if we need it. I need to really shut down the possibility you can bombard here, which is why I'm going to be using the naval bombers. We'll see. But yeah, we need to really start to look towards having the actual surface assets really put to use. Anyhow, we've got Shoho over here at Yokohama Yokosuka. The destroyer escort's going to be on its way. Whereabouts are they? Right, we'll have our actual transports make it to Paramashiro Jima 2 days, it looks like, until they arrive. Ah, they've arrived, but they haven't been given orders, okay. Where's Task Force 5-3? Right, there they are. Yep, so they're heading south, which is obviously what I want there. So they're going to be heading in towards Yokohama, Yokosuka, to go and escort, well, be the escorts to have Shoho go south, which is going to be good. Looking forward to being able to use that, actually. Right. I do have a Fubuki over here, actually. Kagiro. Giro. Giro. Try to Fubuki out here. Yeah, there we go, Fubuki. I'm glad you need to head back to Japan. And you do as well. So they're going to head back to Yokohama Yokosuka to undergo repair. Well, upgrade, sorry. Okay, and return. Well, they're on the way back. Do they not actually have ASWR signs? Oh, they don't, wow. Yeah, they need to be upgraded to have them, so that's kind of sucky, but oh well, it is what it is. Okay. So moving the 24th Air Flotilla there to Roinema. We'll have a air headquarters over here at Kendari near enough in the future, so that'll be good. So I think with that, we are more or less done with the turn. I don't think there's anything that's really too... Yeah, I don't think there's really anything that needs to be done as yet. I do need to reorganize the convoys, but I'm being a little bit late on that one. So the R&D is finally getting underway now, which is good news. Ideally we'll bring the A6M30 forward. And also we're not going to be using the A6M30, but we're going to be looking towards leapfrogging to the A6M5. So I'm looking forward to that. About midway through the year we'll have the Tojos. They're getting underway as well. Looking forward to having Tojos actually, they should be fairly decent. Very much looking forward to the KI67s, 84s, let's see. Yeah, the D4Y ones are going to be amazing. Cannot wait till we have the D4Y ones. Let's see. Aircraft comparison IGN. What does it come under? Is it level bomber? D4Y1. There we go. I can't remember if we get like another variant of it that can carry torpedoes actually. Let's have a look. There's the D4Y1C, but that's the reconnaissance variant. Yeah, so the beauty of this is, I mean, these are excellent. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it really is great. We'll compare this to the D3A1 Val. And the thing is, it's like obviously it'll arrive a little bit later on in the war. We'll be able to accelerate them a little bit sooner, which could be nice. And we stop the production of Ki-43s to produce more Ki-44s. Well, we're near enough the actual maximum amount of Ki-43s that we want to produce. So what we'll do is we'll keep up that production. They're going to come in handy. I mean, the Oscars themselves will come in handy for potentially like a kamikaze platform in the future. But we'll probably keep on producing them. We might take a look at it, but it's one of those of... until there's a... Yeah, we'll keep on producing the Ki-43s. There will be upgrades, so we'll go along that path. We'll see. I think we'll have to debate that one. But anyhow. It's the range of these babies. That's not showing you the proper range here. Ah, there we go. Max range is 18 hexes, supposedly. We'll be able to see it significantly better if I go into the actual registry over here. Sort of a database. So, aircraft, Japanese aircraft. There we go, D4Y1. Yeah, so the D4Y1 has 6, 7. It might be the C variant I'm thinking of, yeah. Yeah, here we go. This is the one I'm talking about. So, 7, 9. That's not bad at all. D4Y2 Judy. Good range. D4, sorry, DY. D4Y4. Good range as well there. I think there's a mod, I can't remember which one it is, but it has significantly longer range. I can't remember which bloody one it is now. Right, well, that'll be fine. I love seeing some of these interesting aircraft. Thing's amazing. Looks so goofy. That'd be nice if we had these guys. Find the Shinden. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, they are interesting, aren't they? Okay. Yeah, the guy for these 2 rank can carry 250kg bombs and 2 of them. That's really quite good there. So I think we are good to go from here then. I can't really think of anything else really that needs to be organised. We're going to be hunting down the ships that we spotted in the Pacific. They're patrolling around there. J7W1. Was that the aircraft I was thinking of? Oh, right, favorite aircraft, okay. Okay. Yeah, we're going to be attacking a Nomad. Nomad, whatever you want to call it. Oh, it's a jet, alright. Yeah, we're going to go with that deliberate attack. Oh, it's a Shinden, right. Fair enough. Aye. So what we're going to do then is we're going to go on another attack over here with everything. The expectation is, I don't know, maybe it'll succeed, maybe it won't. Probably won't, but that's fine. If we have to just completely grind them into the dust fan, that's fine. We can do that. We still have about 241 AV. We have dispatched another SLF unit to actually head down and join them if needs be. So we'll have reinforcements. I don't think it's required. I considered using the G3M2 to actually bomb the base here as well, just to help us out, but I don't think it's required. I think it's one of those where we just have to sit back and just enjoy the ride and just keep on attacking, really. Surprised, actually, that they've held out as long, but we'll eventually crack. I think the issue we're facing here is the fact of not only the actual terrain. I mean, the fortifications is meh, it's not fun, but we've ground them down to like level 1 fortifications, so they're not making that much of a difference. I think the issue is the fact that when we are attacking here, obviously disabled squads do defend as well. They don't attack, but they do defend. So the issue is just like the AV we're facing. It's very low, but obviously it's bolstered by having those additional forces there. So when it comes to the final calculation, obviously it's a little bit higher than it really is. But that's okay. The artiller's been doing very good. They've been doing an excellent job. It would be nice to have more planning here, but that's okay. The 144th has the most planning here at 61. If they all had 61 planning, that'd be great, but they don't. So we'll go from there. I'm looking forward to having the H6K4s. Obviously, we've got H6K4s over here for the footy now. So ideally, we'll be able to gather a lot more in the way of information of what's going on over here. I imagine he's probably using Pago as his major strategic base in the area. The Line Islands are something I'd like to take a look at in the future. I'm going to hunt down this ship over here, or these ships over here. Ultimately, I'd like to get some H6K4s stationed out here at Canton. I mean, Canton to Palmyra, it doesn't look that far, but still it's very far there at 22. Very handy. Oh, so... well, that's good news then, isn't it? At least we'll be able to take out an AA regiment. It's not the biggest kill ever. It's not the biggest prize ever. But it could have been used elsewhere. So that's fine. Be a nice prize. We'll be moving the division from Rabal over here to Buna, then marching them across. I could go around and land amphibiously, but I don't think it's worthwhile. We'll land them at Buna. It's going to take a long time for them to march across here, but it'd be worth it. Because once they do march over here, then we don't need to worry. They'll have enough supply. They'll have some engineers with them. It'd be nice to take potentially alongside some additional forces just to make sure that they can actually rest. But I think what we'd do is we'd basically rest. Well, we'd deliberately attack at Port Moresby, then just rest. We'd have the ability to fly aircraft there, but I'd probably like to get in some reinforcements, or even just like a artillery unit or something like that, just to keep up the bombardment on them. But we'll see. I think a division will be enough to take it after a few days anyway. Depends really what he's got there, but probably be able to manage it. There's not much at this point in time here that can withstand a Japanese division. Especially in the Pacific. I need these guys to rest. It's a difficult situation here, but eventually it will break. Okay. Nagasaki. We're gonna be... Well, we're gonna have a lot more converted patrol boats in the next 20 or so days. Let's see. AP over there. Shame you damaged actually, but you're gonna be heading in for repairs. So we've got 4 of them over here. Actually, what we need to do here then. Cargo. Agents are very nice actually. Speed. Right, these guys will do. Not the 15 knots. Right. So that's a lot of cargo they can carry there. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to have these guys actually, well, not dock. I'm going to have them carry about 20,000 tons of supply. They're going to take it up over here to Wujiang. The reason is, well, due to the fact of the amount of combat that's going to be taking place up here, we're going to need more supply. Heart attack balloons. Oh, right, I see. That's pretty cool. Okay. I'm going to be interested to see what the results are over here. I'm only going to be using 30% of the G302 squadron, so we'll see how they do. Ideally well. Ideally well. I mean, I've got them still using torpedoes, but it's one of these things, it's like, if I don't... Right, they're going at 6,000 feet. I'm going to have them go at 8,000 feet just in case. Yeah, the thing is, it's like, if we don't use torpedoes, there's always that chance that he might actually move along here. And it could be something dangerous. But yeah, we're going to be moving our assets down here. I'm going to have them move down here to Kuantan as well. They can begin to get ready for when we need to go and clear Singapore of mines. But yeah, tomorrow then, we're going to be looking at, obviously once these support elements arrive over here, once the actual supply arrives over here, we're going to look at what we can do actually to begin to get these divisions loaded up and moving. Well, to get an actual detachment loaded up and moving to Kopang. So Kopang Mikasa are going to be the next on the chopping block over here. Manadu obviously does need to fall, we're going to have reinforcements moving in over there. Ambon and Ternate would be nice as well. But their time will come. We have a large number of APDs moving in over here as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 APDs, another 2 there, another 2. So we'll have, yeah, about 10 APDs in the area, which would be very handy. Okay. Let's go over the operations report then. I don't think there's really anything worthwhile attacking by the Northern Australian coastline at the moment. I imagine they'll probably moved a lot of it. Okay. What I'm going to do then... I can't give you replacements here at the moment. Replacements delayed. Yeah, I'll do this manually. They've still got a decent number. Yeah, we'll hold on to the zeros that we have in at the moment. Obviously, these zeros are going to be used to rebuild Vikita Batai. I'm hoping, but eventually the A5 and 4s are bored here. Where are they? Should have gone the other way. Yeah. I'm hoping that eventually these guys become carrier trained as well. It'd be nice. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but it would be nice. Okay, these A5M4s, they need to be moved over to track. There we go. Lovely. Continue their training. Like, their upgrades aren't possible at the moment, but it's something to bear in mind. Okay. They're moving out. That's good, man. Yeah. Catapult technology was very good. Okay, so I think we'll call it to an end here. I think we have pretty much everything under wraps. There's a number of ships that we do need to get sorted out for repairs and etc. Maya's going to be heading to Japan as well to undergo her repairs. Which will speed up the repairs on the Congo, so that's fine. But we'll sort that out in the next episode. It's going to be interesting, actually. I'm going to be very interested to see what happens in this area. We're going to keep really our guard up to a good degree over here. The good news is at least with having the 1-3s over here, the 1-Bs over here, at least we do have some additional combat air patrols, so that's going to be very nice. It's also going to be over the area already, which is going to be excellent. I'm going to be looking towards how I can actually get additional forces down here as well. Whether that be potentially bombers or potentially even more fighters, but we'll see. I'll keep them over here for the time being, just make sure that we do have an escort for them. It's also good for that experience. But yeah, try and take out these actual ships. It'll be very nice. Okay then, guys. I think that'll be about it. What's the weather looking like for next turn? So it's showing rain, rain, rain. Okay. Partly cloudy, overcast. Cloudy, thunderstorms, overcast, rain. Understandable. Force the name for the turn. Yeah, that's always going to be the interesting part, isn't it? We'll go with Stalingrad on the Yangtze. That sounds quite cool. I'm going to save it just before the end of the turn, though, just to make sure I've always got it back on. There we go. Another day, no man. Oh dear. Ah, but we'll go for another day at New Man. I like that one. It's realistic, isn't it? Just another day at New Man. Oh, we're on the same wavelength there, pirate. There we go. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, and I say a big thank you here. And what I'm going to do as well, as I've been announced, I did mention it the other day on Patreon, but I haven't shown you guys yet. I've been able to negotiate with a actual supplier. Let me see. I'll show you guys, and then you're about to take a look. Here we go. Right, so it loads. There we go. So not only do I have the prints for sale now, I've also been able to negotiate. So for example, I've got the Type 4K new 10mm as well, so you guys would obviously gain a 10mm miniatures here as well. I could do with the German stuff, I could do a lot of stuff as well to be fair, but I've gone for the Japanese forces over here for the time being. I think it's kind of cool. It's one of these of where obviously you would be backing me to help support myself on the channel, but hey, you get a cool little model as well, so that's kind of cool. So yep, there we go. And obviously if you guys are interested in supporting me, you can do so by obviously going to the link over here. And until next time, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you guys have had an awesome time, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Goodbye for now, guys. See you later.